think we have one person hanging out and watching. Just want to know where you guys are coming in from. Today, we're going to be talking about managing your energy levels, different ways to do that, things not to do that. So, I'll be taking any questions that you guys have on this subject throughout the call, and just welcome any input that you have on the subject as well. So I'm just going to dive right in, get things going, and if people roll in, if people show up, great. If not, that's okay. Half the reason I do these videos is to just keep me honest in regards to recording some things that I find helpful and useful for people. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Jackson Hardin. I'm a coach. I've been working in this field, in this world for about 10 years now in different capacities. I like to just connect with people and hear what they want to create in the world and help them do that. This profession allows me to continue to grow as an individual and to share what I'm learning along the way. So that's a big part of it for me too. So today we're talking about how to maintain your energy throughout the day. This was a question that someone asked me. I proposed, what do you guys want me to talk about? What do you want to learn about? Someone said maintain your energy levels throughout the day. I said, okay, I can do a video on that. So that's why we're exploring this topic, and it's an important one. Being able to maintain your energy is a pretty basic thing that a lot of us don't learn how to do. For different reasons, which I'll go into here in a minute. But for different reasons, we just don't get taught how to maintain our energy throughout the day. And, as life goes on and as the world keeps moving and things get wilder and wilder for us, if we haven't learned how to manage our energy or don't have skills for doing that, then a lot of things can compound either internally or externally that end up needing our attention that we have to deal with then while we're trying to learn how to manage our energy at the same time. So today we're going to be talking about how to do that. Before we do, first I'm going to adjust my blinds. All right, and then second, let's talk about why it's important to know how to show up and maintain your energy. The very first thing that comes to mind is if we want to show up to the things that are most important to us in life, we need to be able to show up with a certain level of energy. For the most part, there's some things where we can just kind of, stumble through. But, for the things that are important to us, whether that be our family members, our job, our vocation, any creative endeavor that we're involved in, if we don't know how to maintain our energy and we're showing up, all flustered, tired, worked up, whatever it may be, we're not going to be able to create the kinds of things that we want to create, whether that be that relationship or that be a creative endeavor. So we want to know how to maintain our energy so we can show up to the things that are important to us. Another reason is we want to balance. We want to balance our lives. We don't just want to show up heavy in one area and then have no energy left for the other areas. A lot of ways that we do this culturally is we show up heavy for work and then our relationships suffer because of it. So learning how to maintain your energy throughout the day to go to work, to do well at work, but then also have some energy later in the day is important. Another reason that it's important for us to explore maintaining our energy, and this is like a personal one for me, but something that I think is more and more becoming more and more apparent for most people is the way that we've been doing things, up until this point in time hasn't really, been working. It's worked in a lot of ways. Like we have cities and we have technology and we have communities and societies and whatnot, which is helpful. But just like our relationships with each other, our relationships with ourselves, our relationships with like the planet, the world as a whole, has suffered due to an imbalance in the way that we show up to life. Like we're so focused on doing things and getting things done that um, some very important aspects of existing get lost in the process. So part of the reason I think it's important for us to learn how to manage our own energy is so that future generations and our own children and people younger than us that are modeling themselves after us, whether they're conscious of it or we're conscious of it or not, these individuals can learn a new way of doing things, of having good balanced energy throughout the day, as opposed to overexerting ourselves and draining ourselves, and not being able to show up to other areas that are important. And then another reason to learn this is to avoid the extremes where you have tons of energy and you just throw everything into one project or endeavor, and then you have no energy, and then you're recovering, for a couple days or even weeks, depending on how much that you've done, how much of that you've done, how much overworking or burnout you're experiencing. So, several reasons for us to explore this topic. And then, like I said at the outset, if you don't know how to manage your energy, like, the rest of life is going to be kind of wild, because all of it is based on whether or not you have energy to show up to it, whether that be relationships, whether that be, your own health. If you don't have the energy for it, any of these areas, how are you going to show up to them? So lots of reasons. But let's look at first, why don't we? So there's all these reasons why we should. Why don't we? I think the first reason, or the first reason I have written down, which could probably be the first reason, is just a lack of awareness. Like, we aren't aware of our energy levels. Really, we're not taught, how to maintain our energy. I don't remember being in school and having them ever, sit me down and be like, okay, you need to make sure that you've got energy for, classes up to this point, and then when you're out of here, any extracurricular activities. And then when you're done with school, you're going to have to balance your energy with a job and your family and your community and being involved in things that are important. No one taught me that. So there's a lack of awareness culturally around this. This isn't something that we explore, which is crazy, because again, our energy levels affect every aspect of our life. So lack of awareness around energy levels. We don't get taught to pay attention. So not only do we not get taught to manage our energy, but we don't even get taught to pay attention to what energizes us and then what depletes us. There's a few things that we get taught, in that regard. Um, but it can be a very subtle thing, like what's taking place in your energy levels and in your body. It can be very subtle, and if we aren't taught how to pay attention to our own body and sensations and patterns that take place, then even if we do have a gross understanding of different things that add and take away our energy, we don't have like that personal understanding that really only comes through your own awareness and your own attention on your experience of when you have it, the energy, and when you don't. Um, let's see. Why don't we balance our energy? All right, those are most of my notes on that subject of lack of awareness. The next would be cultural restraints. The world that we live in isn't really built for us to have energy all throughout the day. It's built for us to be, quote unquote, productive. So the 9 to 5 schedule. I've taken up a job working with my friend in a metal shop over the last year, a little year plus. And I've got to say, it has been a very humbling experience and a reminder of how brutal the 9 to 5 grind is. It is fucking crazy. Like, what's expected of the average individual to drive to work, let's say half an hour commute, which is on the light end for a lot of people. Half an hour commute, you go into an office or workspace and you're there for 8 hours. You get a 15-minute break, a couple hours in, you get a half hour to an hour lunch, and then you have, and then you're off work. Then you drive home uh, in traffic, probably. And, what's left of the day, hopefully, we can get some time into exercise, make some healthy food for the rest of the day or the week, maybe spend time with friends throughout the week. But just culturally, the way that everything is set up, this 9 to 5 schedule, it's kind of difficult, for a lot of people to actually balance their energy. And if you don't think this is true, then just look to your left and look to your right, of the people around you that are suffering from some sort of abuse of, whether it be alcohol or, they're checking out using the internet, or they have some other, mental condition that they're dealing with. Like, the evidence is pretty apparent that the way that we're doing things isn't the best way to do things. There's ways that we could improve. Now, with that said, it is nice to have a time and a place to be somewhere to work on things. There's definitely something that comes with creating containers in regards to the flow of energy. Um, but I think the 9 to 5 grind that a lot of people are caught up in, particularly people that just doesn't work for their systems, it's just brutal for managing energy. Another reason that we don't do this is we have, again, kind of in this vein, certain expectations that we put on certain areas of life, particularly work and productivity, that we value in a much higher regard than even our own well-being. So, it's more important for us to, break down our body doing X, Y, and Z job or work overtime or take care of this project at the expense of, sleep or time with our family versus, taking care of ourselves. So again, a cultural restraint just around what we value, and it's productivity a lot of times more than it is our own health and wellness. Another cultural restraint is family. I can't say the word. I want to say familial family expectations, right? So what I mean by this is like extended family kind of things where friends, family, people around us expect us to be able to do certain things or show up a certain way. And look, like I'm the number one person to speak about this because I am not. I'm very protective of my time and energy, and when it comes to like family events and friend events, I could probably get out a little bit more in that regard. And at the same time, like I'm wildly affected by being in big groups of people or having a lot of stimulus, a lot of noise happen around me. So, I've got people in my life that want me to come to this event or want me to do this kind of a thing, and I just can't do it. And I feel that like that cultural kind of expectation for me to show up at certain places that I just don't have the energy for. So that's another reason that we don't manage our energy well. And then finally is like this principle in life, and particularly in the personal development realm of like more is always better. Doing more shit is always better. If I'm not pushing hard enough, then I'm not showing up the way that I should. If this isn't challenging enough, I'm not showing up the way that I should. And these challenges and these pushes are great. They can help us grow in a lot of ways. But if that's the only way that we engage with life, is to constantly be pushing and challenging ourselves. And if you're fucking tired, don't ever take a day off and keep going. Like it's a silly way to look at things. It's a very out of balance way of looking at things, and it is something that's quite pervasive in our culture um, in regards to work, as I've talked about at length so far, and but also when you start entering like personal development and like self, places where you're supposed to be learning how to better take care of yourself and create like a life that works for you. There is kind of this heavy like that hustle culture thing. So these are some of the reasons that we don't take care of ourselves. And then last is like unskillful behaviors. We do a lot of things that drain our energy. We're all aware of this. And because of these activities, a lot of them will have peaks and valley in our energy. And then finally, I have lack of boundaries. If we don't know how to say no to things that are going to drain us or things that we don't have the time, energy for, or know how to prioritize, then we are going to end up, draining ourselves. So we're going to get into it now. So how do we become a little bit more balanced with our energy throughout the day? We've just been talking a little bit about why it's important and why we don't do it, but let's start diving into how do we actually do it. Before I do, if you guys are live with me here, I'd love to just hear where you're at and why you're on the call. So there's something in the chat here, so I'm not just talking to this camera by myself. And I'd also like to say, if this video or the other ones I've been working with have been helpful for you guys, please like and subscribe to this channel, share them. I'm trying to grow this audience a little bit right now, and that comes from your guys' help. Let's see what else we have going on. Oh, another thing I want to mention is I do have a monthly group container that is available through Patreon where we'll explore certain topics like this. We'll create clear intentions for the month ahead, and there's some accountability from the other guys and gals in the group to keep you on track as you move towards the things that are most important for you. Recently, I have set up my website, at the beginning of this year or so. So go check that out. It's jacksonhardin.com. And over there, there's different offers for working together, whether it be that group container or private container. I have a 3 session coaching offer, which is a great way for you to kind of get clear on things like this. What are your energy levels? How do we create a day, a week, a month where those are going to actually be sustained and highlighted? So again, you can check that out, jacksonhardin.com. So now let's talk about how. How do we actually maintain our energy throughout the day? So the very first thing that comes to mind when this question comes up for me is you need to become aware of what is energizing you and what is draining you. If you don't know what these things are, it can be very difficult for you to maintain your energy throughout the day. There's a certain level of awareness that is necessary. Now, I have a big list right here of things that energize people, or what energizes me, but I'm curious if you guys want to add anything to the list or share, what energizes you. Feel free to share it in the chat box. I'll just run through some things, and we'll see. Maybe they fit for you too. So what energizes you? If I was to answer this question, I'd put that time in nature energizes me. Getting plenty of sleep, time with friends who are fun, watching comedies, good music, coffee, morning walks, morning routine, stretches, cold showers, focusing on what I want to create, and playing guitar, music, artwork, working with my hands. There's all these different things that energize me. And I guess I'm kind of running through this quickly, but really, this is like a number one thing. If you want to create more energy in your life, if you want to have more balance throughout the day, you need to become aware of what energizes you, like what actually turns you on and gives you energy versus what turns you off and drains you of energy. If you don't have a distinction between those two things and you're running around doing what you do in life, and you're unaware of if it's affecting your energy levels or not, then it's going to be very difficult for you to maintain your energy throughout the day. It's like pretty basic, right? So, the number one thing that you could do when it comes to balancing your energy is get clear on what gives you energy, what takes energy away. And everything else I'm going to share with you after this, um, you probably already know, but until you're able to connect the dots between what gives you energy and what takes your energy away, like everything else I'm going to share is, I mean, it's just basic stuff, right? But it's all here organized for you to hear at once. So anyway, what energizes you? What drains you? I gave some things that energizes me, and let me give some things that drain me. Things like staying up too late, too much social media, eating crappy food, smoking, drinking, doing things that I don't want to do really drains me if I'm not into something. Gloomy days, which is difficult living here in Seattle because we get a lot of them. What else drains me? What takes energy away? What turns me off? What turns me off? Like the news turns me off. Hearing things that I can't do anything about. Messes, like having a dirty home, really drains me. So I need things to be organized. So again, get clear what energizes you and what drains you. And once you know those two things, you can start doing more of the things that energize you and less of the things that don't. So here's the second piece. Now that you're aware of those things, create a life that supports you, that helps you stay energized. So this can look like big things. Um, if you make that list of the things that energizes you and you find that working with your hands energizes you and you work in an office, then it might be worth considering making some sort of adjustment to where you're doing something throughout the day that actually brings you energy and nourishment. So this can be a big one. I'm talking about creating a life that supports you. This could be the kind of job that you have, the kind of people that you're surrounding yourself with, the things that you're doing for fun, the things you're doing to relax. Again, get clear on the things that turn you on and turn you off, and then use that information to design the kind of life that's going to support you, which might require making some big changes. But if you want balance of energy throughout the day and you're feeling way out of balance, then there may be some big changes that need to be made. So get clear on what it is, and then start creating a life, building a life that supports you and supports your energy levels. And then once you start doing that, and this is part of it, I'd say use a schedule. Use a schedule to a certain regard, because when we schedule things, they get done, right? Like if you put a doctor's appointment on your schedule, you'll probably show up to it. But when, someone wants to hang out and grab a drink after work, or I don't know, whatever it is people do, and you don't put it in your schedule, it's easy to slip your mind. So once you have all these things that you're aware of that energize you, you can start to schedule time to do those things. And you can start to notice when you're doing things that don't energize you and instead replace them with things that do. So, some things to schedule: schedule a bedtime, schedule when you're going to go to bed. Sleep is such an important piece when it comes to your energy levels, that if you're not getting enough sleep and you're drinking energy drinks or something to try to make sure that you have energy, like you're out of whack, you're out of balance there. So schedule when you go to bed, schedule when you wake up. And I'd schedule time to wake up after you wake up. And what I mean by that is to move your body, to stretch, to breathe, to drop into the day instead of just waking up and rushing out of the house. Um, Another thing is pay attention throughout the day of your energy levels, and try to put things in your schedule or in your plan for the day that reflects your energy levels throughout the day. So for me, I'm pretty focused and on top of things in the morning, and then as the evening comes around, I get a little less focused. So I try to schedule the important things at the beginning of the day, and then in the evening it's more just things to unwind or things to prepare for the next day. So create a schedule, schedule time to wake up after you wake up, schedule your day in a way that reflects your energy. Pay attention to your energy throughout the day. Know what's happening. Know throughout the day. Like for me, at 3 o'clock or so, or right after lunch, I get tired. So what I like to do is take a nap. So I try to create time for that instead of just hoping that I remember. I try to create time for those naps. Um, Beyond that, schedule, so like I said, schedule naps, your schedule breaks throughout the day. Schedule time where you're working for a couple hours and then you're just going to take a break, go for a walk, or just sit on the couch or lay on the floor. One of my favorite practices is to lay on the floor in the corpse pose. If you've ever done yoga, it's like where you lay flat on your back, and I'll set a timer for 10-15 minutes and I'll just lay there. And it's really energizing to pause for a moment and come back. So that's something that you can do. Schedule downtime throughout the week as well. So we're talking about scheduling time throughout the day, to relax and to unwind. But throughout the week is important too. If you work for 5 days and then Saturday and Sunday is just chock full of more activities, no wonder you come to work on Monday tired. Find a way to schedule your life, to schedule your weeks to where you get downtime. Not every day after work do you need to go to the gym, right? Some days after work, maybe just come home and chill, read a book. Schedule time throughout the week to unwind, not just throughout the day. Personally, I like to have Sundays as my do nothing day, where I don't have anything scheduled. The only thing I really have scheduled is to do a week review. But other than that, it's just lounging, just hanging out. But I'm not scheduling like going to a concert on a Sunday or going to a party on a Sunday, even having lunch on a Sunday. Like if those things happen, cool. But I really like to play it by feel on Sundays. So schedule throughout the day and throughout your week different times to unwind. And then the other thing that I have on this whole thing is learn to say no to things, not to plan things that are going to drain you when you don't have the energy for them. If there's an event or a happening that someone's wanting you to go to, but you don't have the energy for it, you got to learn to say no and create those boundaries around those things so you're not overextending yourself. So that's creating a schedule. Next is how you eat. How you eat, what you're ingesting needs to be clean and healthy. You know, organic whole foods, not food products, not things that are chock full of chemicals made by scientists in a laboratory to determine what it is that's going to give you the biggest dopamine hit and make you come back to buy more. That's not food. What food grows on trees and grows on, grows in the ground. Um, Animals, like clean healthy foods. If you're ingesting a whole bunch of chemicals, your body is fighting that throughout the day. And you're wondering why you're tired. It's because all this extra energy is going to clear the system of junk and garbage. So make sure you're eating clean, healthy, organic, whole foods. Drink clean water. The water that's coming out of your tap is not to be trusted. I'm sure by now you've probably heard about Flint, Michigan. And if you think that's the only place in the world that has shitty water, then you are wildly mistaken. If it's coming through your pipes, do not trust it. It's garbage. These old pipes just carrying, metals into your system, not to mention all the, chemical cleaners and whatnot they put into those. Um, it's not, it's don't consume it. What I did about a year ago is you can go online and you can have water delivered to your house, or you can also look up riverbeds or rivers where you can go and get water, and they have water at grocery stores, but find some good clean water. Don't trust what's coming through the pipes. Another thing is to avoid things that are heavy in like caffeine, um, and like energy drinks. Like those things are going to peak and drop you. I have like a coffee a day myself. I know people that drink coffee all throughout the day and then wonder why they wake up tired. It's like their body is in this state where they're this fight or flight state all throughout the day, highly stimulated. It doesn't get to unwind, it doesn't get to relax. And when you do that over time, you start to create this cycle of needing those things in order to have energy because the last time that you had them, they drained you of the energy you'd have now. So none of these things give you energy. They find a way to tap into your body to get more. And then you're going to pay for that later. So avoid doing things that are going to give you energy or shortcutting this whole thing. It's not really a shortcut. It's go to sleep, eat some good food, move your body, you know be aware of what gives you energy, what takes it away, do less of the things that takes it away. Another thing I have here is don't smoke. I've recently stopped smoking cigars. I was smoking cigars for a while, and it has been just huge to the way that I feel. And I used to smoke when I was like 20. I used to smoke cigarettes and quit for a long time, and then Um, like I said, started smoking a little bit more over the last couple years. Just I don't know, something to do. Play some cards, smoke cigars. But then it started really becoming a habit where I was doing it a lot. And the reason I bring it up is my God, it is like a night and day difference when it comes to energy levels, when it comes to focus, when it comes to my attitude when I'm not smoking. Once you get past kind of the irritating withdrawal portion of it, I have so much more energy. So it makes me wonder what other habits, have I got in my life, or maybe that you have in your life, that if you were to stop them, how different the world would be, how different you would experience life if you were to drop them. So highly recommend not smoking like a ton. If you can, have a smoke on the weekends while you play cards or something, fine. Yeah, do your thing. But also, I encourage you to play with not doing any of that at all and seeing what happens when your body's not, fighting to give oxygen to every cell in your body, with, the throat and lungs constricted, and, the competition that I don't know how it works physiologically, but just smoking has on all that. And then beyond just smoking substances in general, alcohol, marijuana, whatever else. Not saying don't indulge, but if those are things that you're habitually, like you're just doing them nonstop, again, there's like a homeostasis in your body that can't really get met if all these different substances are coming in and chemically changing everything in you over and over again. So just be aware of that. If you're having a hard time balancing your energy throughout the day, like look at it. Are you constantly using some sort of substance that's taking you out of homeostasis? And this can include things like social media and the internet and computers. If we're doing that all day long, that's going to have an impact on us. So the next thing I have is open the lungs and release tension. So this is another big picture way to maintain your energy throughout the day. So again, I have become aware of what turns you on, turns you off, create a life around it that supports your energy levels, schedule times throughout the day and throughout the week to rest, um, eat clean, healthy foods, and now open your lungs and release tension. So I put it like this because learning to breathe properly, learning how to inhale and exhale properly is going to have a massive impact on your energy levels. All day long, you're breathing. And if your breath is not full, all day long, you're kind of breathing. And all day long, you're kind of getting energy versus when you could be really getting energy all day if you're breathing properly. So, this isn't an area where I'm like, super trained. I have a friend, Michael Holt, who runs a program called Masculine Vitality. We're in the middle of it right now. I'm helping him out on the tech side, and he knows all the physiological, reasons and adjustments and ways to approach, the breath and breath work and health and wellness and all these things from the place of, increasing your energy and vitality. And he can tell you all the details about this. But I'm going to tell you this. Um, certain breathwork exercises, big inhales, big exhales. One that I do often is 100% inhale, just relax on the exhale. So you do a few rounds of that. And as you pay attention, you will feel your lungs expanding. You will feel it becoming easier to breathe. Opening your lungs in this way at the start of a day, and then taking time to stretch the body to release tension in the body that you may have accumulated from the day before, from workouts, from other things you're doing. Releasing that tension and opening the lungs is going to give you, is going to give your body access to so much more energy than just waking up all kinked up with a shallow breath walking throughout the day. So I highly recommend finding ways to open the lungs and relax the body. It doesn't have to be just breath work. Going for a run can do these things, right? You're breathing in, um, you're filling the lungs with a lot of air. The body is moving, blood is pumping. So I'm not saying that it has to be one thing or the other, but the big picture here is to open up your lungs, find a way to open up your lungs and find a way to release tension in your body. So I've got meditation and breath work, great ways to do this. Exercise, yoga, stretching, going for walks. There's all sorts of ways you can do this, but get things flowing in your body. That's going to have a massive impact. And if you're able to move the body like that all throughout the day, the same way that you're able to schedule time for doing and schedule time for not doing, for relaxing, if you start doing those things, if you start going to bed on time, waking up at a certain time every day, um, you're going to begin to have new levels of energy um, to access. And as you pay attention to all of these things, you can start to schedule your days, your weeks, your months to reflect those things. Another gross thing to think about is, and I'm going to move, I guess, right into pitfalls. Gross meaning big. So pitfalls when it comes to maintaining our energy in this way is a lot of times we'll get on track with a workout routine or we'll get on track with, a meditation routine or whatever it is, and we will think that that's something that we need to maintain all throughout life. For the rest of my life, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week. But that's not the way it works. We need to recognize that there are different seasons of life. Sometimes, life is going to be in a flow and it's going to be easy to show up to those things. Other times, it's going to be difficult and it's going to take a lot more effort. And we need to kind of choose our battles in that regard. Beyond just the seasons of life, we have, well, the seasons of life: winter, summer, spring. Culturally, we're so disconnected from these things. We're so disconnected. We try to be as active and do as much as we do in the summer when the sun is up and we're just being energized all day by the energy of the sun, and you know, life is flourishing. All the birds, animals, everything's taking action. And then winter comes when the whole world is asleep, right? Bears are hibernating. Everyone's kind of tucked away. There's not as much sunlight, and we try to maintain the same exact schedule, the same exact amount of output that we did during the summer, and it doesn't make sense. Culturally, we're so disconnected from following the seasons. It starts to mess with us. We go, oh, well, why can't I just keep working out? There's something wrong with me. I must be depressed. I need to go get a therapist. I need to take these pills because I don't have the same energy I had a couple months ago, and it seems to happen every year. There's cycles, that the planet follows, that the universe follows, that we are disconnected from as a culture. So, pitfalls of trying to maintain your energy is not being aware that we are part of this big thing. And if we think that we're just going to push through and do whatever we want all the time, we're sadly mistaken, and we're going to find out that that's not the case. So, common pitfall: failing to recognize season of life. Another one is when we start feeling really good, we start getting energized, we start maybe compromising a little bit. Like I start working out, start getting in shape, and I'm going to maybe I'll have a couple, cinnamon rolls instead of just one. Or, I've been really good on my sleep routine, going to bed on time. So tonight I'm going to go stay out late. Oh, I stayed out late last night. Why not do it again, tonight? And then we start compromising and picking away at all of these things that we've established to maintain our energy. I start feeling really good. I'm going to go out and have a drink. And none of these things are bad, but we need to just be aware when we start slowly stopping doing the things that were helping us maintain our energy. um, those things can compile, and now we're back to not having much of it. And then the last thing that I have here, things to, oh, actually, two things. Another pitfall is we let other people tell us what we need energetically. They say, "Oh, don't be such a, don't be such a pussy about it. Get up, go to work every single day, 5 days a week. You don't do overtime? Come on, we're here to work." And we start to let the opinions of other people kind of impact what we actually need. I might not need, um, or I might need more downtime than you. You and me are not the same. I might need more downtime. I need to know me, have self awareness about what I need so I can make decisions in my life that support what I need. So we need to know what our needs are and not let the world around us dictate what it is we need. Start to become self aware. Sit down, get still, journal, write, ask yourself questions about what it is you need energetically, and then start providing yourself with that. And don't let other people tell you what it is that you should or should not be doing. Know yourself so much that the opinions of other people, particularly opinions of those who don't know you, and feedback that isn't invited, that isn't something that is running your life. You're running your life because you know what's important for you. So don't boohoo your own needs. That's a pitfall of managing your energy. All right, that's it for this call. Just wanted to dive into that. How do you maintain energy throughout the day? We talked about why it's important to do it. We talked about why we don't do it. Talked a little bit about how to start managing your energy throughout the day, and then pitfalls that might get in the way of it. So my name is Jackson Hardin. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff. And I will be back here next week, same time, same place, doing these calls. For those that are interested in more of a deep dive, I do a monthly group coaching container. You can find out more in the description below. It's through Patreon. And on my website, I have the opportunity for private one-on-one sessions, consultation, a three-person session or a three-session package, which is really helpful for this kind of a thing. Getting clear on your energy, creating a schedule, getting the ball rolling. So you could check that out too. Appreciate you guys watching this, and please let me know below. Was this helpful? Was there something that I missed? Is there something you would add? If so, put it in the comments below. All right, talk to you later on.